All right, all right. Welcome to the final segment of our show, the heart of the show, Ballers Bouquets. Too often in the media, people only want to focus on the negative and salacious things athletes do, but never want to give them their credit where credit is due. Here, we like to make a change. So this week we're going to talk about Bears wide receiver Allen Robinson, who recently opened not his first, but his second reading zone in Chicago. They're called the Reach for a Book Reading Zone. There are different Boys and Girls Club locations in the Chicago area. They provide students with e-readers, magazine subscriptions, and hundreds of new books. All right, so we got to talk about this. He does this through his organization called the Allen Robinson Foundation. They recently held a charity event. They raised over $50,000. It goes to funding these reading zones. It also provides educational opportunities and resources to low income students in inner city Chicago. And this is huge because a lot of these programs rely solely on the generosity of people like Allen Robinson and them using their notoriety and fame and money for a good cause. So he has the Allen Robinson Within a Reach Foundation. And the important thing they want to make sure people understand is that children who do not have access to self-selected books, i.e., like they always gonna assign you books in school, but those aren't the things you're interested in. It's about being able to select your own reading material, right? Read at levels nearly 50% below their peers.
Hmm.
And children who read 15 minutes outside of the classroom are exposed to almost 1 million new words a year.
Wow.
They then become significantly more likely to be at the top 2% of their classes. So it's crazy to think about it, but literally just giving them the access, a safe place, and resources to read things that they find interesting excels and hugely impacts their success later on in life, their success in school, etc. And that's a really interesting thing because it's curriculum isn't really tailored to your interest always, especially when you're younger. We all know standardized testing and they teach the same thing
Hmm.
and there's not a lot of as educators or people who like did school like it's really standardized. There's not a lot of, especially in inner city school systems, flexibility. Not everything communicates with you, etc. But the ability to pick your own book and learn while enjoying yourself is huge. So he, and I quote this, he says, I think a lot of the youth is in need of a lot and not just reading, but also a voice. That is the biggest thing for me as a person. Growing up, a lot of people told me my dreams and aspirations weren't realistic. So to be able to be a voice for the kids, somebody that they can talk to, or somebody that can come into a room like this and look up to who has sat in the same seats as them, I think that has the biggest impact. And
Huge.
that's coming. Oh, talk to me.
No, I was just saying huge. Like I agree with him 1000%. Like reading does that special, and giving access to books does that special thing where it does give them access to things that entertain them and keep them. But when you read, you figure out that you can't have a voice. And sometimes that voice is a spoken voice, and sometimes that voice comes out in your craft, whether it be football or your sport of choice or something else that people think you're not supposed to be able to do. And sometimes it comes out in things like writing. Right. And so I think
Mm-hmm.
you just open up a portal when you give people access to books, and when you give kids access to books, you it's kids who will probably never leave Chicago until they're old enough to buy their own plane ticket. You know what I'm saying? Who will never, go a whole lot of places outside of the state of Illinois until who knows what thing might happen to them. But with books, you can take a journey wherever you want to go. And all of a sudden, you're working toward a trip to Egypt. You're working toward a trip to Iceland because you found out Iceland was actually green and Greenland is actually filled with ice. Like you was like, I read that in a book. I gotta go see it for myself, right? And so I love that just because everything he's saying is facts in terms of just giving access to a reality, a portal to a future that was denied from him, but he didn't take that as good enough. He stayed consistent. He stayed wedded to his dream and his goal, and he's giving the opportunity of that to other kids. I think that's dope.
It's amazing because each of these reading zones impacts over 500 students every year. So it's actually a huge impact. And always here on the fly route, we like to let you know, but wait, there's more. He also then took 25 of these kids from the reading zone, gave them an all expense paid shopping spree to purchase gifts for themselves and their family. But wait, there's more. He then participated in a Bears home team handoff ticket program, which for every single Bears game, he gave 6 free tickets to them for members of the Boys and Girls Club of Chicago that are members of this reading zone. Like, he's been huge in the community, a massive impact. And he talks about this. He's like, I want them to understand this because, I'll quote this, reading and education wasn't something that I took very seriously early on in my childhood. My senior year, I actually found myself not clearinghouse eligible, which meant for me that all the scholarships that I had to play football weren't going to be active. So then I had to buckle down, and by that time it was almost too late.
Come on.
He credits his grandma for making him buckle down, helping him out, getting his grades back up so he could then get that scholarship to play at Penn State. So he's like, I want to instill this in the youth early. And that's huge because we always know the kids of the future. Yeah. And also this man's a beast on the field.
Yeah.
3 seasons, 3,000 yards, 17 touchdowns. Okay. Like, man is crazy. Re-sign him now. What are the Bears doing?
Yeah.
Great in the community, great on the field, worth every penny. Pay the man. Pay the man.
Your old Bears, they be slow to draw sometimes. They be having to figure it out. Hopefully, they do the things that keep somebody who is such a phenomenal player, still so early in their career, still making such investments and strides in the community on the community level. Like, you just really can't beat that. So many people treat their football careers like a tourism opportunity. You know what I'm saying? I'm here and this is where I'm at and I'm vibing and I love the city because they buy me drinks at the bar. They show me love when I pull up. I get in here, I get in there. When it come down to, you know what I'm saying, where the fabric of the community that you in, what you really doing? And for him to come in and slide in and handle that business, I think speaks largely to why he's a character person that you want on that team. And on a team that is very much in a transformative kind of developmental, make a decision about what the hell you're trying to do position. Those are the type of people you want to keep around.